Hey guys, Grumpy Scientist Guy here. Welcome to my new channel. Okay folks, today we're going to be taking a look at the Nacon MGX Pro controller. I should mention that both of these devices were bought with my own money. They were not provided by the company. We will be taking a look at how they work, a slight teardown factor, their key features, and a discussion of their long-term durability. Just for reference, these products are sold under two names in the United States, the Nacon MGX Pro and the Rig MGX Pro. They retail for about $100, although you can often get them on sale for about $50, even at major box stores. While these controllers have been out for a while, I really wanted to do a teardown of them and kind of discuss them a little bit. Because one thing that really annoys me a lot of, we have unboxing videos, we have, day one reviews of videos, but no one's really discussing how long do they last. When I'm going to buy something, I would like it to last more than, a couple weeks, a couple of years. I take good care of my stuff, and I don't want to just break on its own. So we're going to be discussing these in particular. They have potential design failure that we really should have a conversation about. So first, let's take a look at their size and their specs. These are large controllers. Even closed up, unless you are wearing cargo pants like some kid in the 90s, you're probably not going to be putting these things in your pocket. You need a bag or something else to travel with. For reference point, here is an Xbox controller, and here is a Nintendo Switch. You can get a sense of how big these things actually are when lined up. As you can see, these are big, and when they're extended, actually holding the phone, they are significantly larger. In terms of specs, they are pretty standard. They have the standard Xbox configuration. In fact, even they do make two models of these. The original one I purchased was an Android one, and this is the Xbox version. So you can see, other than the button, they're really not too different. This one does have a little bit of shinier gloss to it, but otherwise they are basically identical. They have one undocumented feature, which is that they have a USB-C port here on the bottom. And if you do plug this in and connect it to your phone, even with Bluetooth off, you can use this as a USB-C controller. So you have to have a cable that kind of comes around, wraps up, and plugs in. Look a little silly, but if you really need that response time, you can actually use this as a USB-C controller. Besides that, they actually have no other key functions. You can see that there's no M1, M2 capability on these phones. They've got no macro buttons. They have no other additional features, standard controllers. They are not Hall effect joysticks or triggers, although the triggers are in fact analog. We'll take a look here in gamepad view. You can see that the stick moves all the way around. You can see buttons are working, and you can see that the triggers are in fact range sensors, not just on-off. That matters a lot if you're going to do things like Dreamcast emulation. A lot of racing games do require the analog triggers. They do not support D input. They only support X input, which does matter if you're going to be using things like Moonlight or Steam Link to play your games via cloud. You're going to do things, Killer Instinct, for example, only supports D input. I also do play a lot of fighting games. This D-pad is really good. In fact, I actually like this better than the round one on the Xbox controller. I grew up with Nintendo. It's a lot more comfortable than those old square controllers. And this is really nice to do moves. As you can see here, we can do some Hadoukens, and whatever the Dragon Punch is actually called. I can even pull off the Super Hadoukens with this controller without any real problem. In addition, they are Bluetooth, and I've seen no real lag. The phone I'm using with this, and it does matter which phone you're using. I have the Z Fold 3, and I have no noticeable detectable lag, although I'm certainly not the world's best fighter. These controllers feel really good in your hand. These are really comfortable controllers, even though they are large. I will note that with a Z Fold, they are a little top heavy. There's a little bit of a lip here, which keeps the phone from sliding down to the middle position. Even with that, however, these feel really good, and I really don't have any issue with it. I did see someone have modified this by removing this lip. I don't really recommend that. Yeah, they do have a good amount of tension. They will hold your phone pretty well. But, I don't really want to drop a $2,000 phone on the ground, so I would definitely recommend keeping this lip and having the phone just extend a little bit beyond the top. So, with all these, these are really good controllers. I did, in fact, purchase two, and we're going to talk about that now. The reason that I purchased two of these phones is because my nephew took this one, and while he was playing with it, he's 9 years old, he gave it a good yank like this, and it no longer works. If you can see, if I power this on, nothing happens. Now if I hold it while holding the power on, I extend it all the way, you see it's now working. And we're going to do a little bit of a tear down now and take a look at this and kind of what's going on under the hood and why does this matter. So let's get this thing taken apart real quick. So on the back, I'm only going to remove this side of it because that's where the technical problem is. There's a number of screws here on the back, which are easy enough to remove. They don't require anything special, just a regular Phillips screwdriver. More. Actually, all of them. I will note, I would not recommend actually doing this. When I did this, I ended up having to cut a small piece of the plastic off in order to get this back together. They did not make this easy to take apart. So, as you can see, we've kind of taken this apart. The way this actually works is that there's this kind of wrapped ribbon cable that goes through, and when this is extended, there is a metal piece here that actually holds it in place and prevents it from being extended too far. Unfortunately, it appears that this ribbon cable is just a teeny tiny bit too short when this is actually connected, and as such, or this metal is too short, and it allows it to put a little bit of tension on it, which allows it to crack the line between the two pieces. So this one would be here, this would be over here, they would be connected. But when my nephew was able to yank it hard enough, he was able to pull this too taut, and it actually put damage on this. We can tell that because if we hold this ribbon straight, it will actually work correctly. But when folded even a little bit, it does not. Just happens to be the way this one cracked. I suspect other ones would have a similar problem as well. So that's a little bit of design flaw. If this metal was just a teeny tiny bit shorter, it probably wouldn't have that problem. That being said, I did like this controller enough to purchase a second one. I do think they're probably the best controller for Android, or at least the most comfortable one that I've ever used. And again, solid D-pad, solid analog triggers, so strongly support that. But I would say be very gentle with this. Don't necessarily let little kids play with it. And if you're going to extend it to full length, just do it nice and slow. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hopefully this was a useful video. Please use the comment section below if you want to know anything else. And as always, the New York Yankees suck. Thanks.